Students, let us start this new lesson, chemical reactions and equations. Now, in this lesson, we are going to study about chemical reactions, then rules of writing chemical reaction, balancing a chemical equation and types of chemical reactions. Now, can you recall? So, what are the types of molecules, of elements and compounds? See, an element is a material that consists of a single type of atom. Okay, so this element, okay, like oxygen, nitrogen, O2, so H2, all this they contain a single type of atom. Now, each atom type contains the same number of protons. Chemical bonds link elements together to form more complex molecules called compounds. Now see, elements they contain simple, that is single type of atoms, same type of atoms. Okay, for example, I told you oxygen. Now see, oxygen, it is O2, right? So it's containing same type, O and O plus O, right? So in compounds, it's not like that. See, chemical bonds link elements. So there will be a chemical bond between the elements to form complex molecules. Okay. So a compound consists of two or more types of elements held together by covalent or ionic bonds. So this the compound, it consists of two or more types of elements. For example, see, water. See, I will show it to you. See, for example, water. Okay, yes. Now this, this water molecule, it contains hydrogen atom and oxygen, correct? H and O. So two different elements, they are combining together to the, and in between there is a chemical bond between them. Yes, such type of molecules we call it as compounds, and these are compound molecules. Now, so it might contain, yes, two or even more different types of elements held together. Now sugar, if you take, yes, it is C6H12O6. Now this contains three different types of elements, right? So there is a chemical bond held between them. So this we call it as compound. What is meant by valency of elements? Valency is the combining capacity of an element. Valency is the number of electrons that a neutral atom of an element loses or gains to have noble gas electronic configuration. So you have studied already about this. So what is this valency? It is the combining capacity of the element. Yes. Now see, valency is the number of electrons that a neutral atom of an element loses or gains to have noble gas electronic configuration. So this valency electrons, okay, it is the outermost electron. So it has the capacity to give away or take electrons, so that the element, okay, it gains the noble gas electronic configuration. That is, the outermost shell must have 2 electrons or 8 electrons to become stable. Now see, for example, sodium. See, sodium's atomic number is 11. So you write the electronic configuration as 2, 8 and 1. Now see, sodium, it has the that is, it can lose an electron to become stable, right? So if this sodium, if it wants to attain, that is, if it wants to become stable, see, I will show you. Now see, sodium, if it wants to become stable, so what it has to do, now the electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 1. So 8 is the, that is, if it becomes 8, it will become stable. Now the outermost electron it is having is 1. So this 1, if it wants to become stable, it has to lose 1 electron or it has to gain 1 electron, right? Yes, it has to give away this 1 electron or it has to take 7 electrons. But taking 7 electrons will not be easy. So if it gives away this 1 electron, yes, if it gives away this 1 electron, then sodium will attain the stable electronic configuration or stable atomic number 2 and 8. Okay, so the electronic configuration this is closer to noble gas neon. Okay, so the electronic configuration of neon is 2,8. So then what will happen, this will become stable. Okay, and the valency of sodium is 1. Similarly, valency of calcium, magnesium is 2 as they lose 2 electrons. Now see one more thing, why this sodium we say valency is 1? Because this 1 electron takes part in the chemical reaction, right? Yes, so the valency is 1. Now see, similarly valency of calcium, magnesium is 2 as they loses 2 electrons. Valency of aluminium is 3 because it can lose 3 electrons. What is the requirement for writing molecular formulae of different compounds? So what you require if you want to write molecular formulae of different compounds? How are the molecular formulae of the compounds written? See, a molecular formula uses chemical symbols and subscripts to indicate the exact number of different atoms in a molecule or compound. So what is a molecular formula? It's going to use the chemical symbols, right? Just like how you write water H2O, sugar I told you say 6H12O6. So what is going to happen over here? The molecular formula, it's going to that is use the chemical symbols, okay, so that the exact number of different atoms can be known. Now an empirical formula gives the simplest whole number ratio of atoms in a compound. Now I told you water, I have given you example H2O. So the ratio 2 is to 1. Number of atoms are going to take part in the reaction, right? So whole number ratio of atoms in a compound. A structural formula indicates the bonding arrangement of the atoms in the molecule. So if you are going to write a structural formula, it will tell you what type of bonding is there. Okay, what type of bonding is there between the atoms in that molecule, whether it is single bond, double bond or triple bond. So when it comes to writing a molecular formula of different compounds, you will need to use a set of prefixes to indicate the number of atoms of each element in the molecule. Let us write a formula of nitrogen dioxide. There are two elements in this compound, namely nitrogen and oxygen, isn't it? So if you write nitrogen dioxide, okay, two molecules are going to take part in the reaction, N and O, that is nitrogen and oxygen. And how many atoms of oxygen? 2 atoms of oxygen are going to take part. Now see, there are two elements in the compounds, namely nitrogen and oxygen. The absence of a prefix on nitrogen and the di in front of oxygen indicates two atoms of oxygen. So the formula is nitrogen dioxide. So when you are writing nitrogen dioxide, okay, nitrogen, so only one nitrogen, di means what? Two. So it's telling you that two atoms of oxygen are taking part, right? Yes. So you're going to write di before this oxygen, so it will become nitrogen dioxide, so NO2. In earlier standards, we have seen how compounds are formed by chemical combination of elements. We have also learned that the driving force behind formation of chemical bond is to attain an electronic configuration with a complete octet. The atoms attain a complete octet by giving, taking or sharing of electrons with each other. Now see, we have seen that compounds are formed by chemical combination of elements. So you have studied this in earlier classes, that compounds, how they are formed by the chemical combination of the elements. Now see, we have also learned that the driving force between formation of a chemical bond is, now why this chemical bond is formed, what is the actual intention of this, that is when bonds are formed, okay, the electronic configuration with a complete octet is attained, okay. So when complete octet is obtained, what's going to happen, the a molecule or the atom is going to become stable. The atoms attain a complete octet by giving. So how they are going to obtain this complete octet? Yes, by giving, taking or sharing of electrons. Chemical reactions. Some of the scientists of the 18th and 19th century carried out fundamental experiments on chemical reactions. They proved from their experiments that during chemical reactions, composition of the matter changes and that change remains permanent. On the contrary, during physical change, only the state of matter changes and this change is often temporary in nature. Now see, in 18th and 19th century, some of the scientists, they did some experiments on this chemical reactions. Now while doing the experiments, they proved that the chemical reaction, okay, the chemical, during the chemical reaction, the composition of the matter is going to change and that change is going to be permanent. Now for example, I have been giving you the example of water, okay. Now see, H2O. Yes, here hydrogen and oxygen is combining with each other. Now hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is also a gas, okay. Now hydrogen, okay, it is this hydrogen, it is a combustible gas, right? Yes, it's going to burn, it's going to catch fire. Oxygen, it is the supporter of combustion. Now see, when this hydrogen and oxygen, when they are going to combine with each other chemically, that time water is going to form. And the properties of water, okay, water is a liquid and it is neither combustible nor it is the supporter of combustion, right? So it's having entirely different properties when you that is referred to hydrogen and oxygen. Now see, that is why by this way they proved that during chemical reaction, composition of the matter is going to change and this change is going to be permanent, right? On the contrary, during physical change, only the state of matter is going to change. For example, see, ice can be converted into water, water into gas, water into steam, right? Now this steam or vapors, it can again be converted into Yes, liquid, water and water again into ice. So here what is happening? Only there is physical change, and this change is not permanent, isn't it? It's only temporary change. So such changes we call it as physical change. Now identify physical and chemical changes from the phenomena given in the following table. Now see, you are going to do this, but before you do this, let us see a small video clip so you will understand it better and you will be able to solve this table. Okay.
Liquid water. Milk becomes curd. What can you say about composition of matter and type of changes? For physical changes, the composition of matter remains the same, whereas in chemical changes, the composition of matter changes. Physical changes are temporary, chemical changes are permanent. The reactions which cause physical changes are reversible. The reactions which cause chemical changes are irreversible. Physical change.
See, now I gave you the example of water. Now the physical changes. So what is going to happen during that is, I gave ice can be converted into water, water into steam, right? Yes, water into water vapors. Now here what happens? The composition of matter is going to remain same, right? Yes, it is temporary. You can, that is converted from ice into water, water into gas. Again a reversible reaction can take place, right? That is from water vapors into water, water into ice. So this type of reaction, it is reversible. Changes are temporary and no chemical reaction, right? Now here in case of chemical changes, for example, hydrogen plus oxygen, okay, it forms water. So what happened here? The changes, okay, this changes was permanent. The composition also changed. That is H2 plus O2 became H2O, right? So the composition changed over here, and the type of reaction is irreversible. So H2O, this is permanent change. Water is permanent change, isn't it? Now you cannot convert it back, that is it converted back into hydrogen or oxygen. So the chemical reactions, some chemical reactions are taking place in the corresponding matter. Okay. Now let us continue. See.
Changes can occur without any chemical reactions. In case of chemical changes, one or other chemical reaction is always taking place in the corresponding matter. So, in a chemical reaction, some substances undergo bond breaking and are transformed into new substances, having different properties than the original one. This is done by the formation of new bonds. Example, charcoal, when burnt in presence of oxygen, carbon dioxide formation takes place. In this reaction, carbon and oxygen from air are the reactants and carbon dioxide is the product. Representation of a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction can be represented in words and is called a word equation. For example, sodium hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid gives sodium chloride plus water. A word equation can be written in a condensed form by using chemical formula. For example, NaOH plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2O. NaCl plus H2O. The ionic bonds in NaOH and HCl break and bond forms in NaCl and H2O during the chemical reaction. Put litmus paper in each reduction. It shows NaOH as basic, HCl as acidic, and NaCl and H2O are neutral. This proves that products are formed having totally different properties than the reactants. Do you remember how to write chemical formulae?
So now I'm sure you understood what is this physical and chemical changes from the that is which are the physical and chemical changes. Now see, what you're going to do is you're going to identify the physical and chemical changes from the phenomena given in the following table. Now this you students are going to do this. I will just read out. I'm sure you will be able to do this if you have understood. See, phenomenon, okay, transformation of ice into water. They have already given you that it is a physical change. Cooking of food, it is chemical change. Now how you identify this? Transformation of ice into water. You know, ice is converted into water. Water can be again transformed into ice. So this is just a physical change. Now cooking of food, this is permanent, isn't it? Once you cook something, okay, you prepare a vegetable, or you prepare chapati out of wheat. Can you convert the chapati again into wheat? No. So this is a chemical change, right? Now see, ripening of fruit. So you will that is, you are going to think about this ripening of fruit, whether it is physical change or chemical change. Milk turned into curd, then evaporation of water, okay, digestion of food in the stomach. So digestion of food in the stomach, size reduction of naphtha balls exposed to air, staining of Shahavadi or Kadappa tile by lemon juice, breaking of a glass object or falling from a height. So all this, okay, you are going to think about this and you are going to decide whether it is physical change or chemical change, and you are going to send it to me. This is quite easy, okay? Yes. Okay, now see, in the next video we will we will do this following activities. I will explain this to you. So let us continue in the next video. Till then you are going to solve this table. Okay, I am sure you must have understood what is this chemical reactions and physical reactions. You must have understood what are the elements and compounds, what is meant by valency. Yes, so let us continue in the next video.